Well, God bless you. Apostle coming at you as the quarterback for tonight. We're excited that, well, it's about that time. Yes, NFL, need for leadership. We're so excited. We're inviting all the men of the valley and all of the men from other ministries to join us. We're going to be watching the game. It's going to be food, fun, and fellowship. Genesis chapter 3, that when Adam and Eve sinned, God came in the cool of the evening. He said, Adam, where art thou? What God was saying was, men have to take their rightful place in leadership. So every month, once a month, Monday night, we're coming together and we're going to be teaching and giving men tools to be the leader in your home, in your church, and in your community. We are excited about what God is getting ready to do. Don't miss it. NFL, need for leadership. God bless you, Apostle. Still here.
Hey, welcome to another edition of NFL Live. NFL, need for leadership.
That's right. That's right.
I am here with my brothers.
Yes, sir.
My co-leaders at this table. My brother Lamont Payton is in the house. And Dale McCarty is with me too. We're here to have some fun and just share some nuggets on leadership as we talk about this game of football. And once again, we are, this is the overall series we're dealing with is Men on Mondays.
Yes, sir.
And so let's talk about some football.
Let's talk about some football.
First, let's talk about this thing that just happened recently. Buffalo Wild Wings. We know that Buffalo Wild Wings is one of the sponsors of the NFL. So it's an incident that happened there. Lamont, just share with us a little bit about that incident and your thoughts about that incident.
Interesting you should bring that up. Buffalo Wild Wings, one of the major sponsors for the NFL, just recently had an incident, I believe it was last week, where a group of patrons went in. A brother came in with his family, some of his youth. Their parents came in and they went in for dining and sat down at a table. And after seating for a couple of minutes, they were asked to be relocated to another area of the restaurant because another patron who comes there quite often does not want to sit next to black people.
Wow.
Black people. And you know, I had the thought, I was just wondering, as a leader, remember, he was the one that made the decision. What would you do as a leader if you were asked to relocate in another area of the restaurant because of who you're with? Because of who you're with. Kind of remind you of back in the day when you had to come in a certain door because you were black. Just imagine you being asked, how do you respond as a believer in Christ, as a leader maybe in your church? How do you respond? Odell, what do you think?
That's a great question. The first thing you want to do is respond with integrity.
Okay.
All the time. Challenges are nothing but opportunities. So you can leave your mark in a very positive way. Now, the first thing is your feelings that will get involved. And that's called being natural. So you have to be disciplined enough to monitor your feelings where it could get, outrageous. You could just give a piece of your mind. And we know as believers, our mind, when we give a piece of it, ain't no good. That's why I say put your mind in Christ.
That's right.
Because our own righteousness is filthiness. So, but you take, first thing you have to do is check your feelings.
Absolutely.
It's an opportunity, but you handle it with dignity. The first thing I would do was I would ask for their corporate number. I would get their corporate number, and I would get their names. I will have them give me their names. I'll have them give me their store location, and I'll have them give me a receipt with their store location on it. That way, all the information about that particular store
number.
will be on there. And from there, I'll say I will make a report reporting you all. I'm a patron just like the other person's a patron. And that is not fair, nor is it legal.
Absolutely.
So you say sometimes you might want to use some terminology that will, put the fear of God in them, but at the same time, it's also allowing me to know who I'm dealing with. So I don't want to give you any of my money because I could take my money somewhere else who will appreciate it, but I would not be disrespected.
Okay.
So you handle it like that. Now, sounds easy,
right,
but it's not. Because the first part is to check your feelings. And when you write, you want to give something, just human. You're like, hey, let me read you your rights. But sometimes it happens to put us on display, to put God on display.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this just right there. Would you first abide by what their request is and then check your feelings? Get your thoughts together first, or would you respond? Because oftentimes, and I'm going to say this as an African American, we often react before responding correctly. Would you, because they were asked to be relocated to another area, in which this family, this group did, they relocated first before they left out the restaurant. Would you have done the same thing, or would you ask for all the corporate information first?
It would have been right there on the spot. I wouldn't have moved. Because one, that was wrong. And you're not going to be disrespectful to me. So you can still be in dignity and respect, but I'm not going to respect something that's disrespectful.
Understood.
Yeah. And I would agree with that. And the biggest thing you said to me was, just check your feelings. Because that's what I would have had to do, immediately check my feelings. Because at the end of the day, I am from the West Side. And so I gotta pull that in.
Yeah, because I know a couple of words.
You
West Side and the South Side very often.
So you do have to check yourself. But as you just said, I probably would have sat there and gathered the facts. But I would not have moved to another table. I would have took my family and went on up out of there and did that follow-up on the outside, because you can hurt them more in the pockets than with your mouth.
And another thing, it's not like we haven't been battle tested. Unfortunately, many people of our complexion have previous incidences with other businesses.
Yeah.
From being followed in the stores, from being followed by police while you're driving. So it's not like we're not battle tested already.
No doubt.
Even when something like this happens, it's not nothing new for us.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we won't allow it.
Yeah. So we got a couple other things to cover, but let's move on to the next one. This very emotional topic. This one's going to be in our feelings too. The Chicago Bears.
Somebody help me.
They have lost their fourth straight game. And they have what I'll call an inept. Now, I don't use that term much more often, but they have an inept offense. Odell, can you talk a little bit about the ineptness of the Bears offense?
Well, I'm a Bears fan. I was actually prepared to root against the Bears for the rest of my life when they drafted Trubisky.
Wow.
For the rest of your life?
For the rest of my life.
When they drafted him.
When they drafted him. Because I thought it was the wrong decision and I was fed up. But his rookie year, he did pretty good. So I continue to be a Bears fan. Now, let's fast forward to this season. Year number 3 for him. And the offense is horrible. The defense is very good. But it looks like the offense is not carrying its weight. And I mean that from not only the work from the quarterback, but from the offensive line, and especially the coaching staff. I think they need to do more as a staff and a team to do better. Now, the good news of being 3-4. Was it 3-5? Oh, Lord.
3-5. Yeah, 3-5.
3-5 is only halftime.
True.
It's only halftime.
That's right.
True.
That's right.
So
That's
it's
good.
8 more games to play. So we still have an opportunity to make a run for the playoffs.
That's good.
Now, we got 3+ games. We need 6 more minimum.
You know, I have to laugh because one of the key words you said that I picked up on in the beginning and the tap right in was opportunity.
Yeah.
There's still
Yeah.
an opportunity for our Chicago Bears. I'm a Bear fan. I'm going to remain a Bear fan. I'm going to believe that they're going to make it to the playoffs. And I'm going to believe that they're going to do a good job this season. Now, with our quarterback, we're going to give him another chance. That's all I'm going to say.
Let me just say, so as leaders, it is important to be optimistic.
Correct. Absolutely.
It is also important to make sure that you're carrying your weight.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's also important that you admit when you've made a grave mistake.
A grave. Did you say a grave?
A grave mistake. You passed up what is currently 2 of the best quarterbacks in football to draft Mitch Trubisky. And it is one thing for a person, because you can tell when they've lost confidence. He's lost confidence in himself. And when you lose confidence in yourself as a leader,
As a leader, that's important.
your team
Yes.
will lose confidence in you too. And I believe that the team has lost confidence in him.
It has.
And it is hard to regain that.
Yes.
It has.
So I'm just going to say, I am optimistic. However, it's going to be very difficult to win 6 games with a quarterback who has no confidence. All right, we're going to go
All things are
to the
possible
next.
to those who
We talked about an inept quarterback. Now let's talk about a quarterback that's balling out.
Balling.
Lamar Jackson is balling.
Yes.
And what he did to the great Bill Belichick's defense on Sunday, he picked them apart and wore them out.
He picked him out.
Oh,
Yeah.
tell me what Lamar Jackson did, man.
Lamar Jackson, the statistic that was given during the previous week's New England game against the Baltimore Ravens, they said that Bill Belichick is 21-0 versus quarterbacks that are in their first and second season.
Wow.
And
21-0.
so even though the critics were saying that, you know, this is going to be hard to beat the Ravens, but we're going to go with Bill Belichick because he's proven himself with 6 Super Bowls and, you know, and counting, apparently. Not including the other ones, you know, he won as assistant coach with the Giants and all that.
True.
He's a Super Bowl man. But they said that, you know, they, meaning the other critics, said that, you know, New England would squeak by and, you know, they would win the challenge. And Lamar Jackson and company, they didn't read that report, apparently.
Apparently.
Because that boy let his light shine. He showed the glory of the Lord when he was running. Because apparently he got that gift and he did that training together. And he displayed it for the world. And that lets you know, even with your gifting, that God will place you in places for the spotlight to be on you.
Absolutely.
So they can see him. So it's important for even Lamar Jackson, even in this time, that when he displays his talent, and even the coaching staff, our Chicago Bears should pay attention to this, that they develop an offense.
leave my Bears alone.
That went, I want to help them. But they develop an offense that was catered towards his plus.
Yeah.
His pluses. Because this quarterback was looked at as someone who wasn't going to be a good quarterback. He wasn't a throwing quarterback.
Yeah.
He's just a talented running quarterback like so many of our African-American quarterbacks are. But no, he showed that he can throw the ball on the run. He can run the ball fast. They prepared for this man, allegedly, but it didn't look like it. I mean, we saw so much. We was looking up here in awe.
Yeah.
You know, and we seeing this guy run, pass. I mean, he fooled us while we was looking at him.
Yeah.
So imagine being there in person.
Yeah, actually on the field with that.
I mean, we look at the whole picture and
We're looking at him and trying to figure, what matter of man is this? He was the underdog.
He was.
Nobody expected him to be able to pull it off, especially against the New England Patriots.
Yes.
And he came through. Think about it as a leader. He's the quarterback. Even though he's the one that runs the plays, but going against the Patriots, no. He was not expected, because you got to understand what your weakness is and your strengths as a leader.
Wow.
As a leader. And as you know that there's going to be a defense coming against you, you got to understand what the defense is so you can pull off. Lamar Jackson proved that there's more to him than you can see.
Absolutely, boy, that's powerful right there, man.
To me,
that you can see. I love that right there, man. And let me tell y'all something, man. And I so agree with both of y'all. And I think one of the most, I guess, profound moments for me was at the end of the game. And as you all know, with the quarterbacks, they look for each other to shake each other's hand. And when he shook Lamar Jackson's hand, I don't know what he said, but it was really quick. But I think what I felt like in that moment was the passing of the torch.
Yeah.
Because, and also,
that's good.
Brady accepting the fact that the quarterback position has changed.
It's changed.
It's not just drop back and read no more.
Yes.
These dudes running all over the field with options and you know, being able to pick up where the defenses are and getting out to where they not.
Yes.
You know, this is just, and it's instinctual.
Yes.
It's not what you saw in the playbook. You read it in the playbook a certain way, but that's not what he just did, man. It was like it's improvisation.
And it's necessary.
And it's necessary.
It's necessary.
Which means defenses can't plan for what you're trying to do.
That's right.
Yeah.
And as a leader, and you said it powerfully, Odell, they built their offense around his strengths. And you said you follow that up. That's important as leaders to know what our strengths are and know what our weaknesses are, so that we're able to develop the team that is around us in order to move things forward.
Absolutely.
So this is good stuff right here.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're getting ready to approach it. We got to approach this one quickly because we're running out of little time. But I want to talk a little bit about this thing, and it actually passed in California, where they're now paying, and I think it's maybe 2020 or 2021, where they're paying college athletes.
Good.
And I'll just say what I say. I think it's the right thing to do. I think it's a long time coming.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a lot of things that needs to happen as a result of it. But one thing I like about it is that they put an emphasis on is making sure the athlete has control of his likeness, which is something they never should have took anyway.
Okay.
But now a college athlete has control over his likeness, his jerseys, his so on and so forth, and now can get paid off of it. What are your thoughts about it? We'll make it quick, to a couple of quick comments about that, and then we'll move on.
I think the mindset that we all bought into with the college athletes saying that they should be just happy that they got a full scholarship.
Right.
But when you realize the amount of money that's being traded,
Wow.
a scholarship is not equivalent to what they're bringing to the table.
Yep.
It's a mustard seed.
It's a mustard seed. I mean, for instance, if I come up to Lamont and I have a spanking brand new Corvette, 2020, and Lamont comes to the table with $200, and I say, you want the Corvette? Then give me your $200. Who's going to do something like that?
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what's happening. That's been happening in college. You give this Corvette to the university, and the university give you $200.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we were told this is the right thing. You should be grateful for that $200. And we're taking your Corvette because your Corvette is a unique, top of the line design vehicle that's made for power, strength, and it's a show off.
Yeah.
When you have college athletes, the college game is not to be just played at the school only. You got television, you got press.
Wow.
You got jerseys that sponsor.
Money coming from everywhere.
Exactly. Why would Nike come sponsor a university? Why would they have team shoes, team jerseys? Because it was a trade. Because it's money, and the athlete was looked at as you just do as we say. I mean, it's almost back like indentured servanthood.
Yes.
So I mean, it's about time.
Yeah.
It's about time.
I agree. And you know what? I'm going to openly admit, I didn't follow college football like I do, excuse me, the NFL. But then as I heard more about them releasing money, I actually thought it was already being done. And then I done some research, and I remember a couple of years ago how some of the HBSUs were struggling. And part of the reason because they were not paying them. They were not paying the players.
Yeah.
How some of the players had to go to the game. They were piling on a bus. They would ride all day, play a game, and get back on the bus to go back home because of lack of funds. And come to find out, there was money there. There is money that is always given to these colleges, but not to the players. I think it's about time.
Absolutely.
And it's actually been time. Should have been releasing that money to these players.
Yeah.
They do it, and they're making money off of these players.
Billions of dollars.
Billions.
Which is ridiculous. So I'm glad we had an opportunity to share about that. Maybe in future shows we can talk about it a little bit more because I think one of the things that I remember so much is when Jalen Rose, they had this 30 for 30 episode, and Jalen Rose, they were in Europe at the time with the 5'5", and how big that was back then. And he saw his jersey in a store in Europe.
Yes.
And he said that's when the light bulb came on, like, my jersey is being sold in another country.
Wow.
Yes.
And I ain't getting a dime.
Not a dime.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to eat. Crazy.
That's crazy.
So let's move on to the next segment.
But before we go to the next segment, it is still not too late to join us right now.
Absolutely.
You can come out to Valley Kingdom Ministries.
Yes.
We are in.
Come on out.
We are in the
Multi-purpose room.
We in a multi-purpose room?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Are we going to be in a multi-purpose?
No, we're going to be in a tabernacle.
The tabernacle. The same place we were last month.
Yes.
The tabernacle. It's still not too late to join us.
Hey, and bring your lawn chairs now. We're doing
And don't forget your lawn chair like Lamont did last time.
And bring your appetite too. Let's go some good food.
I'm telling on Lamont, I forgot mine too, man. So, this game that is getting ready to come up, y'all, you're coming to see an awesome game. The Seattle Seahawks, 7-2, versus the 9-0 San Francisco 49ers. This game is about to be on.
Yeah.
What you think about this game coming up, Lamont?
I'm going straight Seattle.
Seattle?
I've got to go.
You ain't gonna explain it.
Seattle all the way.
He's just going to say Seattle.
They're taking this one.
And that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
I guess you're supposed to do that.
You're supposed to go ahead and tell them.
We're going with Russell Wilson. Okay. We're going with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, most are saying he's having an MVP type year.
Yes, he is.
Absolutely.
So you got to find choice there. What you think, O?
That's a good question. Well, I'm gonna put it this way. I'm gonna answer it two ways. My heart says the 49ers is gonna win the game.
Uh-huh.
No, let me rephrase that. Not my heart. My mind tells me the 49ers is gonna win the game.
Okay.
But my heart says Seattle. And because I like Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, because the talent he has, what he brings to the table.
Absolutely.
It's under the lights. It's Monday night.
Monday night.
You always see the best of Monday night.
Yes, you do.
If
Yeah,
everybody's
you do.
watching, we're talking about a vet here.
Yeah,
Super Bowl
you do.
winner. So I'm gonna go with Russell Wilson with my heart. Actually, I think my heart is gonna be is right.
Okay.
Because these boys is ball. They
They
are balling.
They balling.
Good choice,
They
man.
balling.
They 7-2.
That's just a good choice.
So y'all both,
Niners.
y'all both went with Russell Wilson, and I understand it. I really do. Now, the 49ers at home,
They're home with over 100,000.
and their defense is arguably one of the best in the game. So you got those two things going for you.
That's true.
But I'm with my brothers today.
So is that
Russell Wilson, bright lights. And if we saw what Lamar Jackson did to the best defense,
That's right.
we about to see another quarterback who got those same type of skills
right.
against one of the best defenses in the NFL.
Yeah.
We all going with the Seattle Seattle. I was going to say Seattle Supersonics. That's old school right there, boy. Hey, Sean Kemp, baby. We ain't going to go there right now. We all going with the Seattle Seahawks.
The Seahawks.
Thank you all for joining us for another NFL Live Need for Leadership. Hope you picked up some leadership principles throughout this whole conversation. God bless you and good night.
Good night.